The Canary Islands has been engulfed by a storm carrying clouds of red dust from the Sahara, and that's caused disruptions for many families trying to return home after half-term. Officials have in fact declared a state of alert and advised people to stay indoors with high temperatures and strong winds expected to continue. Let's find out more about what's going on. Joining me in the studio is Jonathan Smith from the Association of British Travel Agents. So what on earth is going on?
Hi, Nick. Well, these storms that come in from the Sahara do happen from time to time and affect the Canary Islands. It seems that a storm has come in and it's affected Gran Canaria and Tenerife. The local authorities there, the AENA, closed airports, that it's affecting travellers flying back from half-term to the UK.
When you say these do happen, how frequent is such a storm and the ensuing disruption?
I think people who regularly go out to the Canary Islands will be familiar with them happening. And I think for those that might not have seen them before, it can be quite surprising. You'll see some of the pictures are, incredibly, quite surprising if you haven't seen them before. But they do tend to pass quite quickly. Many flights are back up and running. There is still a little bit of disruption, but most people should be home in time.
Well, we've heard that, in fact, I think we're getting reports that Gran Canaria Airport has shut again. I think there had been some incoming flights allowed in. But, I mean, what a time for it to happen, half-term.
Yeah, and especially at this time of year, there's about 6 million Brits that tend to go on holiday looking for winter sun. And the Canary Islands are one of the most popular destinations for that, as well as South Turkey, Morocco, Egypt as well.
And I mean, this storm, what does it bring? Red sand, we hear, strong winds and dust. I suppose that's a big factor.
Yeah, it tends to sort of cover just about everything, but it does pass quite quickly as well. But people do tend to stay inside when it does affect the island. So if you're in a hotel, you'll stay inside the hotel or within restaurants. So if you are in resort, do follow the advice of the local authorities, your travel provider. If you are due to fly, make sure you check the flight before you travel to the airport, and hopefully the disruption will pass soon.
Many people will obviously want to get information at airport, but I know Gran Canaria Airport, and sometimes with many airports, it has to be said, you're not getting as much information as perhaps you should.
It can be tricky. So, if you are in resort and you are due to fly, do stay in the resort and then make sure that your flight is due to fly on time or not too delayed before you do go to the airport.
OK, so, but these things are quite frequent. I mean, I've not come across them personally, but will people know what to do? I mean, given the British who are trying to get back maybe for the start of post-half-term, will they know what to do?
Well, I think if you are going to be slightly delayed, it is wise to take a few provisions with you, like essentials, so like water or baby food, for example, if you've got a little one, especially if you're travelling with your family over half-term, that might be affecting many Brits that are travelling there at the moment. But they do tend to pass quite quickly, so I would hope that people will be back onto the planes and back to Britain soon.
I mean, such a thing can't be pleasant for people living there if they're told to keep doors and windows closed in what is, a hot country, a hot island.
Yeah, but it sort of goes with the territory, as it were, with living there. And I think from autumn to spring is the kind of season for these types of sirocco winds, which do tend to sort of whip across the north of Africa, and they can bring these dust storms into the Canaries. We're
told this will last a few days. From your experience and what you know about previous storms, how many days or how much disruption is there generally?
Well, I think, as you know, when it comes to the weather, it's quite difficult to predict what's going to happen. And it's windy here now, and it might pass very quickly. It might stay for a little time. But the airport did reopen. The airports in Tenerife and Gran Canaria shortly after they were initially closed. So I hope they'll be back up and running fully very soon.
And there will obviously be a bit disruption, finally, and planes delayed, so people will have to get on the subsequent flights. Is that going to cause lots of trouble?
Well, if people have booked a package holiday, they should be contacting their tour provider, and it's their job to make sure that they get put back on an alternative flight as soon as possible. And many of our members will be working extremely hard to make sure people do get home quickly. If you've booked a flight independently, I think it's for you to liaise directly with that airline, and hopefully they'll be able to sort you out as well.
All right, many thanks for your advice. Jonathan Smith, thanks for coming in.